All right, and welcome to another edition of the 24th Floor. Today, it's all about college football. We're in week 2, and obviously, week 1 had some shocking scores. Everything from the fall of Arch Manning to the rise of Florida State. Let's get into it. For all that, let's toss it over to our own Richard Denson for today's big idea. Richard?
Ruben, I think I was spoiled last Saturday. Both of the Mid-South college football teams at home, you had options. This weekend, not so much, as they're both on the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. Let's hit that big idea, folks. Let's start right here in the 901 with the Memphis Tigers. They'll head to my home city of Atlanta to take on the Georgia State Panthers, who got whooped by Ole Miss. We'll get into that a little later on. But the Tigers look good in their debut, a 45-10 shellacking of Chattanooga this past Saturday. It was an all-around team performance, but I gotta say, he might be number 2 on the field, but he's number 1 in that locker room and in some of you all's heart. I'm talking about new QB Brendon Lewis, who had an impressive debut, threw a touchdown, ran for another, led the team in rushing, and was all backed by a stellar defensive performance. Let's hear it from the man himself going into Saturday's matchup.
Like I've always said, everybody in that room can make a play, so we did a really good job of spreading the ball around to a few different guys, and I hope we can continue to do that during the season.
Yeah, 4 different people scored touchdowns. 4 different running backs scored rushing touchdowns in that game, I believe. So he was spreading the love, to say the least. All right, now joining us on the program, a friend of the program, a 10-year vet, as they say. Man, you can always catch around the Tigers football field. On behalf of the Daily Memphian, Rich, you want to finish this intro?
Yep, call him FB2, Mr. Frank Bonner II, from 1RD2 to FB2. Alrighty. There we go. One second to another.
I don't have any.
I was about to say, Ruben, you want to weigh in?
I'm the only Ruben Diaz there is out there. Hey, let's get into it. Frank, thanks for joining us on the program. And again, we're talking Memphis right now. After the game, give us your take on how you feel Memphis looked, given they were playing Chattanooga, but still how they looked as a squad.
Yeah, right. So first you got to recognize the fact they were playing an FCS opponent, so they did what they were supposed to. But everybody wanted to see what this offense was going to look like with Brendon Lewis, him being a dual-threat quarterback. It's been a while since Memphis has had one. I liked what I saw out of Brendon Lewis, right? I know they had the interception, but even the coaching staff said it was a part of, him getting hit at the time and all that. But 81 rushing yards on 10 carries, you got to like what you see out of that. I think it gives some more creativity to Cramsey that we're going to see later on in the season when you have a running quarterback like that. And then obviously, the different areas that you're able to do with the run game with, everybody knows that Greg went out, but you had Frank step in, Sutton Smith coming back and looking good, I think was a positive. And so all in all, you don't have anything that you looked at and said, oh, that's a red flag.
Gotcha.
Were you surprised that Lewis led the team in rushing? Like, how often do you see that a guy comes in and he leads the team in rushing at QB in his first game? That really kind of pushes the dual threat thing for him.
Yeah, right. I was a little surprised, not because we didn't know that Brendon Lewis could do that, but I assumed that they would lean on, Sutton and Greg, and obviously we know that Greg got hurt. But yeah, I was a little surprised to see that the QB leading the team in rushing with 81 yards. I think was a great surprise, I should say.
And we talk about Greg. I mean, like you said, he got injured again. I mean, last season he dealt with a collarbone injury. This season already, week 1, he's injured. So what do you like about Greg? Do you think that, all right, that's twice now you done got injured, that now, like, he might get passed in the depth chart from the other guys?
Well, I don't know if a healthy Greg will ever get past the depth chart. Just him and Sutton, just as dynamic as they are. I mean, those are the 2 guys that are going to be at the front of the depth chart if they're healthy. And so now you just wonder how long it's going to take for them to get back. If you listen to what Sutton Smith said directly after the game, and then Ryan Silverfield's comments, a couple of days, post-game, a couple of days after the game, it doesn't sound like he's going to be out for a long time. And so I do anticipate that Greg will be back on the field at some point in the near future.
And while no player wants to get injured, the reality is if you're going to get injured early, right?
Correct.
Because you have time to come back. And it also gives those other guys on the depth chart some very much needed carries early in the season that they otherwise might not get. And so Greg going down early, while it's not what anybody wants, it does allow other guys to get carries that maybe might not be getting those carries. So add some experience to that depth, to that room.
Yeah, and to your point, I think one of the names you have to say is Frank, right, for the Middle Tennessee transfer.
Yep.
I think he came in and gave Memphis some really good carries. He had 61 yards and a touchdown. I mean, they have just touchdowns all over the place.
Touchdown city, baby.
Yeah, so I think what you did see on Saturday is the depth in that running back room, even past Greg and Sutton, which is important, especially at that position. You know, attrition can come in on a long. You know, when you're in week 10, week 11, you want to,
Everybody's tired.
So yeah, they have some depth in that room.
Taking a look at our highlights that we got here, you can see the defense was all over the place. What are some things that stood out for you last Saturday?
Well, for one, the takeaways, obviously the defensive touchdown by DeMarco was huge. But you want to continue. Last year, Memphis was among some of the top in the country in takeaways. And so you wanted to see if that was going to continue. And like we said, I know it's against Chattanooga, but you did see a couple of takeaways. And then also you saw William Whitlow getting the blocked field goal on special teams. And DC Jordan Hankins said that he wants his defensive guys to also make those plays on special teams. And so I think it was a good start for the defense. I'm just looking to see if that is going to continue when you start playing teams like Arkansas and Tulane and so on.
Well, I think to your point, you're playing an FCS team, and I always tell people, if you want to be great, you got to whoop the bad teams, right?
Right.
Play good against the average teams and compete against the great teams. You got to be able to do those things, right? So I would say they played great against a team that they are better than. But so to your point, though, you're still able to watch their performance and say, okay, this was done well, this was done well,
right.
This was done well. And as a coach, that's really all you're doing. You're checking the boxes to make sure the little things are being done.
Yeah, and so there wasn't, when you're playing Chattanooga, there wasn't anything that you were gonna see that was gonna make you overwhelmingly like, man, this is whatever. But what you didn't want to see is you didn't want to see something that says, man, wait a minute, that's cause for concern. Yeah, and so you didn't see that. And so I think that's the important part is you didn't see a bunch of missed assignments and things of that nature. I mean, they handled business 45-10 like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Now we talk about bridging the gap here. So Memphis's next game is against Georgia State, which my sister went to. So I kind of have a little bit of familial connections to it. Some of my best friends went to Georgia State. So Memphis got them this Saturday, and Georgia State just came off getting whooped by Ole Miss, our other team in the area. Do you think now, kind of going into the next game, Georgia State, obviously with a chip on their shoulder, got to have short memory, that they're going to get a little more, the Tigers going to get a more heightened team from the Panthers?
Well, Frank, before you answer, I got to ask this one question. Could your sister not get into any other schools?
All right, man. See, all right. We got to do a quick aside.
Wait a minute now.
Quick aside here.
I'm loving this.
So first of all, let's do a quick aside. So my sister, shout out to her, she's going to watch this episode. She went to Georgia Southern for her undergrad and went to Georgia State for her master's because she wanted to stay in the state. Me, by the way, which is also kind of a small world for Frank and I went to school at Oklahoma State in Oklahoma, and it was not far from Tulsa, where Frank went. So, you know what I'm saying? I just tried to be different, get out of the state of Georgia, prove that I can thrive. And, being back here in Memphis, we're getting closer to home.
Let's answer the question. So, Frank, go ahead. What do you think about Georgia State?
I forgot the question.
She could have got it in
Georgia State.
Well, yeah, like you said, right? They had a rough week against Ole Miss. I think the most interesting thing about it is the addition of quarterback T.J. Finley.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. I saw that.
Right?
Yes.
Are we going to see him? How much are we going to see him? I know he got cleared recently, but the head coach said he had been there since May, and so I anticipate that we're going to see him play on Saturday. Obviously, Hurst, the receiver, is their biggest name that they have. Sure. He didn't play all that. He only had, one catch against Ole Miss, but, that was a different situation. How much are we going to see out of him? I think that'll be a better test than what Chattanooga was for that secondary to guard a receiver like Hurst. And so those are kind of the things that I'm looking at. But I don't anticipate that this is going to be a game that Memphis is going to struggle with.
No.
Georgia State also has that cornerback who snatched the chain from Ole Miss. Did you see that?
Yeah, right. So I don't think we'll see any of that this week.
He got in trouble pregame, and they held him out for the game. So maybe he's like, I let the team down. So when I do get on the field, I got to make sure I contribute. So, just some little things, I'm still taking Memphis to win, which I'll get into that in Bluff City Lines. But anyway, I agree with you. I think Memphis is going to be all over Georgia State. I think we'll see a Georgia State team that does come out a little bit more focused, and it'll be a little bit of a tighter game. But what I saw out in Oxford last Saturday just wasn't good.
Yeah, right. And the quarterback struggled, which is why, again, I'm curious to see, do they look to TJ Finley right away?
The thing you got to remember, though, and I know we have to take a break soon, is in this NIL transfer portal era, when guys jump in the portal, unless they just don't have anywhere else to go, they want to go to winning programs. Correct. So when you're a team like Georgia State and you haven't had traditionally winning, strong programs, and you're a team like Memphis can get good guys out of that transfer portal because they've got the tradition of winning now. You know, they've built that tradition. And so the guys who can't get the Power 4, Power 5 looks or offers, or the guys who are coming down from that level, they're going to go to a Memphis over Georgia State. So the level of talent, I'm expecting it to be substantially different on that field.
Georgia State's on this way, though. You got to give them a little bit credit. They play in Atlanta. They play in Turner Field, or what used to be Turner Field. I mean, we'll talk to Steven in just a minute. Georgia State has got some Power 5 guys, some former Power 5 guys. So put some respect on the Panthers, man. And I'm not just saying that just because of my family connection.
You better put on for your family school.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm still rocking with Memphis, but come on, man. Okay. Don't do my school.
Let him have his moment now.
Yeah, it's going to last about 30 seconds into the game.
Man.
And then the moment's going to be over. One shining moment is all we're going to get right then. Well, next week, we'll see how much respect we're going to put on Georgia State after the game.
We'll get into it when I get to my Bluff City Lines about the Lines and everything. I respect Georgia State, but I'm still rocking with Memphis for the win.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, you acting like they some scrubs. This ain't Chattanooga. That's why the spread is only 2 touchdowns.
Only 2 touchdowns in a football game.
Man.
Not 2 points in a
compared to Chattanooga,
game.
where it was 27.5, where it was 4 touchdowns.
It is time.
You see what I'm saying?
It is time to take our break because this man is going to argue that Georgia State's up for the national championship.
No, I'm not.
Let's go to break. Appreciate you, Frank, for all your time. Could not have done it without you. We will obviously see you on the sidelines.
All right.